You could also call it the habit of separating what is here, appearing as this being, from all other beings, all other forms that show up. Human forms, animal forms, plant forms. And it's a habit that we all have, that we all develop. You know, a baby at some point develops a perception of itself as separate from its environment, as separate from his or her mother, as separate from the crib and the room. And you know, it's not it's part of the animal conditioning that we all have. Animals do it, human beings do it, you know. And so that habit becomes the norm, you know. It's like that's how we perceive things, that's how we perceive ourselves, that's how we perceive others. And then we feel disconnected, you know, then we feel separate. And there's a seeming need to connect to others. And it's a human need, you know, it's a deeply, deeply felt and perceived human need because of that habit of separation. And there's a deeper truth, which is that, you know, we show up as this being or that being, but fundamentally there's only being, manifesting in this form, in that form, manifesting in human form, in animal form, in plant form. As this individual, that individual. And so we get into the habit of relating to specific forms. And we no longer realize that actually all of it is an expression of being, of truth, of love, whatever, however you want to name it. But there's a reality there that's shared by all of these forms, all of these beings. And when you touch into this reality, others are no longer separate. You know, they're like, you know them intimately because you know yourself. So somebody else's joy is known because we know joy, or somebody else's grief or sadness is known because we know sadness and grief. You know, all of what expresses in human beings is known to us. And the more we open to to this being, the less there's a need to separate from any of its expressions. And the more there comes to be an intimacy with all of it. It's part of the, it's part of the play that seemingly, there's people joining this gathering from Canada, from the States, from Europe, different countries, different languages. And when we're in the habit of separation, that's all we see. And there is this deeper reality of not being separate at all, of just being expressions of the same love, the same truth, the same being, same self. And there's this play that then happens, this play of seeming separation and intimacy, both. Seeming need to connect and realizing the connection doesn't even need to be there because there's something deeper than that. There's an intimacy that doesn't need to connect, that knows itself as the other, that knows the pain that somebody expresses, that knows that so intimately that there's no need to connect to it. It's very direct then. It's a direct presence to what is, what expresses. Seemingly over there, seemingly here. So when you feel the need to connect, you could ask yourself, am I in this habit of separation? Am I actually in this habit of feeling separate and different and disconnected from everything and everybody else? And if you are, you could ask yourself, is that true? Is that really, is that true? And is there something that's more deeply true than that? And that then can become, a form of inquiry. Everything is an entry point to finding out what's true. Feeling separate, feeling connected, doesn't matter, It's all an invitation to inquire what is true. What is here? Who am I? What am I?